brilliant crypto. New value. A world in which these gemstones await begins here. This is a precious gemstone rush. Unearth gemstones and the fortune is yours. Gemstones with real value and other incentives lie within the mine. With proof of gaming, a new concept, and new value. Finders keepers. Grab your pickaxe and let's go.
Everyone is a creator, and creation is everywhere, and because there is a story pretty much behind everything.
future of gaming at the epicenter of Web3 gaming adoption. Brought to you by Yield Guild Games.
The future is here.
Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future.
We're marching ahead, blazing new trails. This is the future. We're setting sail. We're building a path to things we never done. Tomorrow is here, it's rising with the sun. An evolution, revolutions come. It's only started, only just begun. This is the moment we've been waiting for. So open up the door.
Welcome to the future.
Yeah.
Welcome to the. Welcome to the.
You know.
Welcome to the future.
Yeah.
Welcome to the. Welcome to the.
You are.
Welcome to
A new dawn. A new day. A new plan. Yeah.
Welcome to the future. Welcome to the. Welcome to the future. Future.
Better than ever. Wanna be great.
Woohoo! Good morning, GM everyone again. Welcome to YGG Web3 Game Summit 2023. I'm Brittany. I'll be your host for the day, so do not be naughty. I hope everyone is excited as I am as YGG is once again bringing the hottest up-and-coming games together with leading industry personalities from across the globe to the hub of the Web3 gaming adoption, the Philippines. YGG's prepared a week-long experiences for all of us. If you're here over the weekend, the Web3 Game Jam concluded over the weekend at STI College, Global City, and the conference is happening today and tomorrow. And over the weekend, starting from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the expo and the tournaments are happening at the Samsung Hall with a huge closing party. So make sure you guys stick around, do not go anywhere, especially for the big party. Hopefully everybody's excited as I am. And without further ado, let me welcome the country lead of YGG Filipino, Mensch Dizon, come onto the stage and give us a welcome speech. Woohoo!
Wow. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first ever YGG Web3 Game Summit. It warms my heart to see all of you traveling from all over the world, gathered together in Manila, here in our tiny island nation. Thank you for making this trip. Thank you for being here. Our team has been working steadfastly for several months to make sure that we bring forth an event that will be at par with the best of the world. But the decision to even get started on this path was a leap of faith. There were a lot of risks. First off, we chose to do it in the middle of a harsh market. We all know how difficult this winter has been and how we all have felt unhinged from this uncertainty. Then we decided to focus the event specifically on Web3 games, despite the challenges that come with promoting a nascent and niche industry. We simply leaned into what we know and what we love. Third, we went out there, armed with our 3-year-old brand, and told people that this is the Web3 Games event to watch out for, that this is like the Game Developers Conference, but for Web3 games. But despite all odds, we are here today. You also took a leap of faith by being here. We have founders from all over the world who will talk to us about their journey, carrying on throughout the uncertainty. Over the next few days, you will hear about the future of games directly from the developers and builders as they share the challenges as well as the opportunities of being pioneers in this space. Our sponsors also took a chance on us, and we have them to thank for making this event happen. If you notice, we don't have any big banner sponsors or co-presenters, but we do have a bunch of brands and companies supporting us. Times are hard, but you shared with us what little you have and contributed to make this event a reality. Our core community also chose to stay on, even as nothing seemed to be happening. We are proud of this community that has plodded on with us, working with us as we put the Philippines on the map as the Web3 games capital of the world. They now eagerly await to play the games that will be on showcase during this week's Game Expo and tournament. They look forward to meeting the makers and giving valuable feedback on the games. This week, we will truly see our community at work. So we all gather here, fellow pilgrims who said yes to take that first step. So let us jointly remember why we do what we do. For us at YGG, it has always been about providing our fellow Filipinos with sustainable opportunities to participate in this exciting Web3 economy. For all of us here, I am certain that we do what we do because we saw something beyond ourselves worth striving for. So I'll end by reading a poem from my favorite David White. I know this is a tech event, but poetry has been the balm that has helped me through this challenging season. So please allow me to share. Just beyond yourself, it is where you need to be. Half a step into self-forgetting, and the rest restored by what you'll meet. There is a road always beckoning. When you see the two sides of it closing together on that far horizon and deep in the foundations of your own heart, at exactly the same time, that's how you need to know it's the road you have to follow. That's how you know it's where you have to go. That's how you know you have to go. That's how you know just beyond yourself, it's where you need to be. So guys, thank you very much. And again, welcome to the YGG Web3 Games Summit.
Wow. Thank you, Mensch, for the inspirational and motivational speech. And now on to our very first topic this morning, a brief overview of the role that regulation can play in the space of innovation and some of the initiatives that SEC has in place to foster safe, sustainable growth of the industry. To moderate this chat, we have the business and economic news editor and the news anchor of Cignal TV, Regina Hing. And let's welcome on stage our esteemed speaker for the session, the Commissioner of Security and Exchange Commission Philippines, Attorney Kelvin Lester K. Lee.
Good morning, everyone. Kicking off the day on a bit of a serious note, no? As regulation, but I guess you need to know the lay of the land in order to, before you go out there and start building things. So the title of our panel, or our fireside chat, is Regulating for Innovation, which technically we should have an hour to talk about, but since we're only getting 15 minutes, let's dive right into it. You've been in this role 4 years now, roughly?
This would be my 5th year, no?
Okay,
roughly.
so what's your big takeaway? Is it really possible to regulate tech while creating safer spaces to innovate, so to speak? And more importantly, do we have the capacity to do so?
Capacity, yes, definitely. This is something that very important to the SEC. It's very important for regulators. That of course, we regulate and create a safe space, no, for the Filipino investors here. So precisely why we've been working so hard at this. I don't know if you're familiar with the SEC. We've been issuing advisories. For those who don't know pala, no, the SEC is the Securities and Exchange Commission. We are the investment regulators. We're also the business registrar here in the Philippines. And part of our function is enforcement, investor protection. That's one of our primary mandates. And as a result of which, we've come out with multiple advisories, warning the public, for instance, not to invest in particular platforms that are not registered with the SEC. And that's very important to us, precisely because we want to create a safe space for people to be able to invest here in the Philippines. As to your question whether or not it's possible to regulate this space without stifling innovation, we're trying. No? The financial regulators, myself, the BSP, the SEC, the BSP, the Insurance Commission, we have something called the Financial Sector Forum where we meet regularly. And there's a fintech committee there that focuses on how to swap stories and discuss how to regulate. So we're trying. Is it possible? I want to say yes. Is it challenging naman? Yes.
It's possible, but we're not there yet, is what you're saying.
It's possible. We're working in that direction. There are multiple regulations already there. But at the end of the day, I think we all want the same thing. We want a thriving Philippines, a thriving economy, and our position is that we can only get a space like that if we make it safe for the investors to be able to safely and easily invest. And that's the end goal, I think, for all of us.
I'll get to your point about collaboration a little bit, but I want to unpack first the point about the advisories. I feel like it'll be, if people understood the thought process that goes behind it, regulation then becomes less intimidating to everyone, right? So walk us through the process, of how you issue advisories or rules. Where does the idea generally come from? Do all the commissioners need to get aligned? And how do you then issue it?
Okay, we have multiple offices in the SEC. One is the Enforcement and Investor Protection Department, and one is the FinTech Innovation Office. One is focused on enforcement, one is focused on fintech. Now, for the purpose of this discussion, I'll focus on those two. So generally, these offices get reports, or they are able to find on their own touchy or questionable, for instance, investments, touchy or questionable issues that pop up under their jurisdiction. And so this generates an investigation internally, and it goes through a process of confirmation, checking if the laws apply, things like that, before an advisory is created by the department involved or office involved, and then they submit it to either to me or the supervising commissioner for enforcement, for instance. I handle fintech. I'm not strictly enforcement, but because of the overlap, sometimes I have to go into that. And then when it comes to our office, to the particular supervising commissioner, we then endorse it for discussion among the NBank. What is the NBank? Essentially, there are 4 commissioners and 1 chairman. We meet as a collegial body, so it's like a board. And then from there, whatever submission is made, we vote. We decide as a group collegially whether or not that advisory or that cease and desist order or that raid will happen. We usually vote unanimously. We try to avoid outward signs of outward signs of tension. And I'm happy to say that this system has been effective in the sense that we've had multiple advisories that have been fully supported by everyone at the commission.
But what happens when there are disagreements?
We thresh it out. We talk about it.
You hash it out
we hash it
until
out.
you get to a common
until we come
point.
to a agreement among the 5 of us. As I mentioned, very rare for us for this iteration of the commission to have dissenting opinions. So we work together, and generally the commission, the way it's set up, the commission defers to the supervising commissioner or the commissioner with expertise. For instance, if it's a fintech related topic, they more often than not defer to me for my position or for my recommendation, and then from there we vote accordingly. If it's enforcement, then it goes to the chair. The chair is the one who makes a recommendation. Then we vote accordingly, as may be applicable.
Right, because you're known to be a huge advocate for the industry, and you're actually quite forward-looking. Are your co-commissioners the same? Do you feel like they're headed in the same direction?
They are headed in the same direction. They're also very open-minded. They're also very forward-looking. I think the only differentiating factor is that some of the other commissioners are not as embedded in the industry. I've made it a point ever since I assumed as commissioner. I wanted to get a better feel for this particular field so that we could regulate it more properly. And I think the industry has noticed, not just the Web3 industry, but the industry as a whole, that I speak very, very regularly to industry. I do try to listen. And then I can parlay that into policy later on.
It's definitely a delicate balance, right, what you do. And where have you gone? Which country have you looked at, or which entity have you looked at for inspiration? Or where have you gone where you thought, hey, that's a great idea, let's copy that?
Singapore is one. No? I speak to my counterparts in Singapore very often, MAS. I speak also to the UK FCA. That's also my counterparts there. There have been certain regulations that we followed, that we emulated from theirs, no? Among other things. I even met with the Lord Mayor of London one time in the UK, who also gave me some advice on how to regulate. So we do keep an open mind. We do listen to others. But one thing that's consistent among all of us is that we try to listen to industry. We try. When I say industry, I mean the people who make up the space. And generally, by the way, for the record, generally we don't talk to industry on a one-to-one basis. We prefer to speak to industry through industry groups. One example of that would be the organization that invited me here, no, the Web3 organization, the Web3 group, no, that asked me to speak here today. So it's much easier for us to be able to speak properly with them if it's from an industry group, because it's not biased. It speaks for the industry rather than one particular company and and then we would then focus on their particular issues. No, so it's much easier if there's a particular group for us.
I mean, certainly it's not a one-way street, right? It has to be a collaborative process. But how do we ensure that everyone's interests, particularly the Web3 gamers, are represented at the table? Right? You talked about dialogues, but are these institutionalized? Do you hold them regularly? Does everyone get a seat at the table all the time?
Well, that's the thing, no? Admittedly, there is a need to try to institutionalize a feedback mechanism like this. I think I'm currently one of the few commissioners that makes an effort, one of the few regulators that makes an effort to reach out to industry and speak to them fairly regularly. You can ask one of the organizers here, Attorney Nathan Marasigan. No, he speaks to me on behalf of industry, on behalf of the Web3 industry very often, because he tries to bring it up. He tries to bring up the issues of the industry, among others, to me. So yes, I personally believe there's a need to institutionalize it a little more, but at the same time, scheduling is a challenge. So it behooves upon the industry to try to make an effort as well to reach out to me or to reach out to the regulators. Now, I guess what's one thing I want to mention, Ma'am Regina, is that we're not scary, or at least we try not to be scary.
Does he look scary to you? He's so friendly.
I get it that SEC, BSP, these other regulators, we look and sound scary because of the authority and the powers that we have. And of course, sometimes the enforcement of our powers can be scary. But at the end of the day, remember that we're humans as well. We're Filipino citizens as well. We want the same thing as you. We want a safe space for you to be able to operate well. And of course, how can you operate well if the industry itself, if the space itself looks like it's unruly, unwieldy, illegal lahat, no? So we don't want that. So I guess if there's one thing you want to take away from this today is that work with us. We do want the same thing that you do, a vibrant, thriving economy. And the best way to do it is through collaboration. My lesson ever since I got into government is that a lot of the best initiatives, a lot of the best happenings happen because it's a collaboration between private and public sector. And I hope to see roughly the same thing here for this particular industry.
And actually, I would go so far as to say you need them as much as they need you. You need the industry feedback, right? Because nobody regulates in a vacuum. You can't just, hash out rules out of thin air without listening to what's happening on the ground.
We try not to, no? We try not to. That's why, for instance, we have consultations. If I may bring up, for instance, there's if you're familiar with the VASP rules of the BSP, we have something similar coming out called the Digital Asset Security Service Provider Rules. Once upon a time, this used to be the Digital Asset Offering Rules drafts that we issued. We will issue that sometime this year for public consultation. Why public consultation? As Ma'am Regina alluded to, we want you to give us feedback as well. Will that particular set of rules crush the industry, for instance? That's not the intention. The intention of the rules is for it to regulate the field and make it a safe space. But we would need you to tell us what you think of it as well. So please, if anyone is interested in that space, wait for those rules. That's coming out very, very soon. For public consultation, for public comment.
And then how long is the consultation period? How long is it open for feedback?
Generally, we give it 2 weeks to a month if it's fairly simple. For something as complex as this, I think I want to try and give it a month or more. Okay. No, but let's see. That will be subject for discussion in a few weeks from now, I think, if I remember correctly based on my schedule.
And then work me through the SOP. So let's say you collate all of these feedback. Who looks at it? I guess you have a team that's looking into it, yes, filtering out what's legitimate feedback or not, and then that goes to the commissioners.
Correct, correct. So after that, the draft goes to the department that's handling it. It's the Market Securities Regulation Department that handles capital markets and certain aspects of fintech and security. So that's also under me. And then after they go through that particular process, they review the comments and then make adjustments to the rules as necessary, and then resubmit it to me for my approval. And then from there, we present it to the Commission and Bank for a final go-through. And then it would be implemented. I'm foreseeing that we'll implement this particular set of rules subject to industry consultation, of course, sometimes Q2, Q3, if ever.
Of next year?
If next year. No, next year na. Not this year. Obviously, I don't want people to work over Christmas. I think none of us want to really work over Christmas. No?
Let's talk about specific platforms for a sec. The spectacular collapse of FTX, right, has been analyzed and covered by everyone and their dog. I was wondering if you could give me a better sense of the kind of discussions that you and other people in government have had about it, right? Did it scare you? Or did it just, you just generally took it in stride?
We didn't take it in stride. Okay, quick side story. Before the FTX thing happened, there was actually a delegation of FTX people who were flying in from I think from Singapore or from Hong Kong, I forget now, to come see me. I think at the time there was an intention for them to create and roll out FTX here in the Philippines. Funnily enough, this day they were scheduled to fly in was the same day that whole FTX collapse happened. So it was hilarious. I got an email from them saying that, Commissioner, can we reset our proposed courtesy call and meeting to discuss FTX platform? I didn't reply because at the back of my head I was thinking, yeah, we're not gonna reschedule. I don't see that happening. You're all gonna be looking for jobs very soon, and I was right. See, that collapsed. On the point of FTX, the original draft of the rules was actually ready for public launch last year. Of the rules I was mentioning, the DASSP, we held it back precisely because of FTX. Because the lesson there was that it looks like the original draft of our rules, which was much, much more accommodating, was not adjusting to the realities that FTX was bringing upon us. So if there's one thing that FTX has taught us, it is we need to be a little more stringent to help ensure people are safe. Because a lot of people lost money in FTX. I had multiple meetings with my Singaporean counterparts talking about it, and they couldn't publicly discuss it that elaborately, but clearly a lot of Singaporeans were affected. I spoke to the UK trade minister about it as well. No, trade commissioner about it as well, and she was telling me that the UK people, a lot of UK citizens also lost a lot of money. I was told that we weren't that affected here because FTX was not as popular here at the time. But imagine if that had happened, if FTX had rolled out more efficiently here. The repercussions for our people would have been horrible. No? We were actually very, very actively monitoring that along with all these other banks that were collapsing at the time.
I mean, Temasek, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, lost a lot of money, and they're one of the most sophisticated wealth funds in the world, right?
A lot of the investment managers are my friends. So for the sake of Singapore-Philippine Committee and good relations, I won't comment on that now. No? But I have been informed.
Listen, no one's faulting them. We're just saying that it's quite the market can be unpredictable. That's all we're saying.
Correct.
And so you took away some lessons from that.
Oh, yes. The current draft that will be coming out soon will reflect a lot of the lessons from the FTX experience.
Give me a couple more.
What do you mean?
A couple more lessons that you took away that you're going to work into your
in relation to FTX?
Right.
We don't like anymore, we were really not comfortable anymore with unregistered platforms, for instance. No? I guess moving forward, that's why we have so many of these advisories that have been coming out, specifically saying we're not allowed to operate unless you have the particular registration here at the Philippines, the SEC or the BSP, as may be applicable. So, yeah.
The SEC has actually done a lot of initiatives over the past few years to open the doors wide for investors, both locally and internationally, to make it easier to do business here. And the proof point is that last year you had a record number of company registrations. Talk us through that.
Yeah, very, very quickly, just to wrap up, I guess, because essentially the Philippine SEC has gone through a process of digitalizing a lot of our services. So a lot of our company registration processes, for instance, is now online. eSpark, OneSec, we have fancy names for them. Essentially, you can incorporate the company as quickly as 15 minutes. We, in fact, showed the president around June when he came to visit and inaugurate our new building, that an incorporation of a foundation that he created, that someone from Mindanao created, took only 15 minutes something seconds, 30, 40 seconds. And the only reason it took that long was because at the time there was spotty internet because the guy was in Bukidnon. So we laud and we are very happy to say that our company registration process is much more easy now. And this has led to a lot.
You took it from several months to just
before in 2019 or so when I first came in, company registrations would take roughly 3 months. We were able to knock it down to around 3 days or so for the very, very basic ones. The super basic templated ones, meaning you make no changes in the basic templates we offer you, can be done in minutes, literally. No, it depends on how fast you type. And because of this set of reforms we have created, we have worked on, we've had historical highs of incorporation. We from 600 incorporations a month, we're now averaging 2,000 to 3,000 new companies in a month. This year is a record high where we have like 48,000 new businesses, new incorporations this year. We're looking at our estimates would be there'll be 50,000 new companies this year for 2023, and that is unheard of. What does that mean? There is a lot of interest, there's a lot of optimism in people to do business here in the Philippines. And I guess one thing I'd like you also to take away from this is that please do invest, do work in this particular space. No, there's a lot of room for growth, and if anything, things like this, events like this, show us that there's a lot of interest in the new technology, the new economy, among other things. I hope that helps.
There you go. The SEC is rolling out the red carpet for you guys. Listen, we're being told we're out of time, but we wanted to end on a fun note. So just very quickly, what was the first game you ever played?
First game I ever played. Okay, I'm dating myself, you know. If you're familiar with Mario Brothers.
Of course, everyone's familiar with Mario Brothers.
The very first Mario Brothers. Can I just, quick story. I don't know if you're familiar with the Super NES and the Mario RPG, Super Mario RPG. Okay, Super Mario RPG was a game that came out years back when I was still in high school, I think, or grade school, I forget, no? And I never got it for myself because at the time my mom wouldn't buy it for me. So I never played that game. Turns out, and in case you don't know, they released it again on the Nintendo Switch just last week. So I just bought it last week. I think it was just delivered the other day. I don't know when I'll find time to play the damn thing, but it's there, and I'm so happy it's there. You know, so.
Except now you don't have the time to play it.
I just don't know. I just don't know when I'll play it.
But you don't have the time to play it.
But I wanted to make sure I bought it because I was told it was very popular. So I was worried it gets sold out. So I'm just so happy it's there.
Okay, last one. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars, definitely.
Okay. Good answer. I thought I was gonna have to debate you for that.
Good to know.
Okay,
good to know.
I think we're being told we're out of time. Sorry about that, but hopefully that was very useful to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelvin and Regina. It's amazing that the ACC in the Philippines is supporting the growth of a Web3 industry. So make sure you invest in the Philippines, just like what Kelvin just mentioned. So for our next topic, the future of Web3, Gabby will be taking us through the trends that he sees and the horizon for Web3 gaming industry. To lead this conversation, we have the director from Emfarsis, Leah Callon-Butler, and she's joined by our esteemed speaker, the co-founder of YGG, Gabby Dizon. Woo!
By the way, our SEC commissioner, thank you. He's a Hearthstone player. So, yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah, that was amazing. How often do you get an SEC commissioner come up and do a talk like that? It's awesome. Thank you so much, Kelvin. Guys, welcome. We've been working on this event for months. It's just incredible to see you all here. Mensch gave us an amazing open remarks just before, and she was saying, obviously, we've got great stuff in store for you. We've got over 40 plus games. Most of them are playable now. We had a game jam over the weekend with over 200 builders. We've got this 2-day conference with some of the most esteemed best thought leaders in Web3 from all across the world, just as the market is heating up. But I did kind of think you might be a little bit crazy when you said that you wanted to do a Web3 Game Summit a few months back. It was like crypto winter. We were even clashing with Thanksgiving. All the American people said they wouldn't come. But Gabby, you had high conviction right from the beginning.
Yeah, honestly, the conviction never wavered. And earlier this year, I was always saying, starting from fourth quarter of this year to next year, a lot of really good games are launching, and we're going to see the market heat up. And I don't mean that in a financial sense. I just meant that there's going to be a lot of players going back because there's really good content coming. And honestly, that conviction has been tried a bit until the last 3 weeks when, yeah, now we're seeing a lot of really good games coming. The players are coming back. The guilds are coming back. So, yeah, it's a great time to do this event.
It really is. And I'm so excited to see this room so full today. It's really, really exciting. But let's get into it, because today I think you want to share with us 5 big trends that you believe are going to be driving Web3 gaming over the next year. And I think that's a really exciting conversation to have, because YGG has always set the narrative for the Web3 gaming space. Right back from late 2020, when it first burst on the scene and no one had even heard of NFT gaming before, YGG was right at the front. So we're going to hear today what Gabby thinks is going to be driving the scene over the next year. If I can figure out how to use the clicker. Do we? Is it showing on the screen? Can you guys see how it's working? Awesome. Thank you, guys. Great interactive entertainment here. All right, so Gabby, 3 years ago, there were basically hardly any Web3 games. How are you seeing the state of the industry today?
Yeah, so now we're seeing a lot of games launching, and I think one of the important trends that we're seeing is the gradual merging of free-to-play games with Web3 or crypto elements. And this is really important because for all of us here, we do want millions of people to come in. The current state of Web3 gaming is still very small. We have our core believers here, a lot of them in this room actually, but we want to turn just normal gamers into Web3 gamers. And last month, we released an article, 8 fun Web3 games that are playable now. So it contains a lot of names that you may have seen before, games like Axie Origins, Mighty Action Heroes, Parallel, Anito Legends from the Philippines. And notably, all of these games have a free-to-play component that people can interact with, and it seems like a normal game. But for people who get deep into the game, for people who want to own a part of the economy of the network, then they get part of the crypto components, whether it's getting an NFT, earning some tokens by playing, minting, and I think that's a very important trend because we do want the games to be fun. We want it to be very accessible to normal gamers, and then when they get deeper, that's when we introduce the Web3 elements.
Got it. Yeah, actually, there was a brilliant Cointelegraph article just yesterday, which was an interview with you, which was all about those free-to-play, the free-to-play lead, but with blockchain gaming elements. I was just wondering, at what point do you actually see that those Web2 gamers would actually make the leap into Web3 when people are thinking about game design, I guess?
Yeah, so how I think about it is that Web3 is not a top-of-funnel innovation. It's actually a bottom-of-funnel innovation. And what I mean from that is that for people who get super into the game, so maybe I want to compete in a tournament, maybe I want to be a content creator, or maybe I want to be a crafter, this is where Web3 really shines because it allows you to do things deep in the game, get involved in the economy, and also own a part of that economy. So we're seeing this with games like Star Atlas, for example, where I can own ships and I can start crafting stuff and then I can get rewarded for it. So I think it's really for the people who are getting more passionate, deeper into the game, and this is where I think Web3 really shines.
Absolutely. All right, so that's trend 1. The future of gaming is now. What's our next one? Guilds 2.0. Now, I think this is something that everyone has been following a lot. You know, people have really wanted to know, how is the guild model going to evolve? How do guilds stay relevant, particularly in the sort of post-play-to-earn era? So what are some of the key learnings from the past couple of years? Before you tell us, you know, where we're going in the future, what are some of those key learnings that we've picked up over the last few years that Web3 gaming guilds have been around?
Yeah, so I think guilds had gotten a bad rap. Like there's a lot of guilds that built around Axie Infinity, especially here in the Philippines 2 years ago. And of course, the economy went down, not just for Axie, but for several games. And we were in a deep winter, and a lot of players kind of ceased playing. But actually, the core faithful in the guilds, they never really left. Actually, a lot of the guild managers are here. Guild manager, raise your hand. See, they're here. They never really left. And even this week, we have events by Blockchain Space, Metasports. We have events by Mirai talking about guilds. And what we've seen is that guilds have evolved. There has been a specialization depending on what they're really good at, right? So one of the guilds we're showing here is Sando of KooKoo. Where's KooKoo? Yeah. He's been one of our best onboarders since day one. He's, of course, been a content creator. He's a businessman. But I think of KooKoo in relation to YGG. He's our best onboarding guild. So there's a lot of players that KooKoo trains on how they can be helpful and how they can contribute to Web3 games. So, you know, if your game is being contributed to by the Sando guys, you're lucky because these guys, they participate in tournaments, they're moderators, they help onboard people. And I think this is really a positive add-on for any game community. And then you have guilds like Guildhouse. Is anyone from Guildhouse here? Yeah. So these guys are the hardcore raiding guild that are affiliated with YGG. And if you see any hardcore MMO, you can be sure that Guildhouse is in the top 10. So these are really our hardcore players. And then you have people like Rome Guild, which is very specific on one game, Star Atlas. And yeah, so you're seeing a lot of these different kind of guilds. And now that more sophisticated games are coming out. And what is a guild but the collection of players who are doing something together? So I don't think that concept will ever really leave. Like people want to get together and play games. So I think guilds will be here to stay.
Yeah, that's right. Guilds have been around for a long, long time, well before Web3. Just before we move on, I was interested to know what sort of infrastructure do you think is needed to be able to scale these guilds?
Yeah, so the infrastructure is very important. And if you think of YGG, what we are actually is like we provide these infrastructure. We're more of a guild protocol than a guild itself. Of course, there's a lot of guilds that are affiliated with YGG, but I personally am not like playing these games every day, although I'd like to, because I have to work on delivering.
Really? I don't know. That's not what I hear from Mensch.
I am playing one game right now. Anyway, yeah, but the infrastructure, and I think a big part of it is actually on-chain reputation, right? So on-chain reputation, you've heard us talk about soulbound tokens. You've heard about our guild advancement program, which you'll be hearing about more today. And I think it's really important that for people who do things in these Web3 games, their achievements are recorded on-chain. You have metadata that describes what the achievement is. And now these players are building their reputation of how helpful or how good they have been within the community that they're part of. And in turn, they'll get better access to things, maybe quests, items in the game. Maybe they'll get airdrop certain items. And this is how you really differentiate who you are as a community member.
Got it. Okay, so on that note, in terms of differentiation, in terms of being community members and being able to demonstrate the kind of contributions that you've done, dovetails beautifully into the next one, which is all about Web3 quests as user acquisition. Before we go straight into that, you've been a game developer for 20 odd years. The Web2 playbook for launching a new game was pretty well set. So how much of that actually applies in Web3, if at all?
Yeah, so for mobile games specifically, user acquisition has been kind of honed to a science, especially like you can buy ads in Facebook or Google, and most of these take the form of app install ads. So when people think about user acquisition, they usually think about, oh, let me put up an ad in a social network that will get people to download my game. And I think that works well for free-to-play. And even the free-to-play portion of the game, they'll still do that. But for Web3, what's magical is being able to do something and get a reward. And that reward may or may not be financial, right? You might be getting an NFT, you might be getting a token, or you may be getting a soulbound token achievement, which is, I think, a very important reward to have as well, even though it's not necessarily financial. So what we see is that Web3 Quest now is really the kind of the bedrock of user acquisition for Web3. Like you want people to do something, either do something on-chain or do something in a game, in an app, in a DAO, and record what they did on-chain. So, of course, YGG has our Quest programs. A lot of other protocols, games have their Quest programs. And that's fine. I don't think there'll be like one Quest or reputation program to rule them all. That's not very Web3. But having all of these different reputational programs means that I, as a Web3 community member, can be part of a DAO, part of a game, do a quest, build my reputation, and these apps can actually triangulate who I am and what I've done with the achievements that I choose to share. And importantly, this doesn't mean that I have to give up what my real name is or what country I'm from. So it's really building up my, my on-chain reputation, which the user owns, which is very important.
Yeah, that's really interesting because you're sort of saying that it's not like one is replacing the other. It's really being able to layer it and have benefits from both, particularly when you're saying too that the games are going to have that free-to-play mix. I was just thinking though, I've heard too that you're also looking at opportunities to even be able to bring, say, Web 2 achievements on-chain. Is that one of the future trends that you're seeing there?
Yeah, that's very important because our world is not just what we've done in Web 3. We have achievements that we have noted in LinkedIn, maybe Facebook, maybe even Steam, Microsoft. So we are working with a number of people, and shout out to the Click guys who are here and other partners that are bringing people's Web 2 achievements and bringing them as attestations into their Web 3 wallet and to their reputation. So I think this is also going to be a major theme in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think Web3 identity is something that's been around for a long time, but it really feels like now things are really starting to heat up and advance a little bit more. Okay, on to our fourth theme. So, esports and also content creators go into this bucket as well. But first, why Web3 and esports?
Yeah, so I think esports and content creation, they're both at root based on the same thing, which is really passion for the game. This is why the best creators are very good, because they're very passionate about the game and they're very articulate about it. And it's the same with esports. I love this game. I play it professionally. And in Web 2, I think esports is having kind of also a winter right now. There's a lot of money that has poured in and it hasn't been very sustainable, and now people are searching for a new business model. And I think this is where Web3 has the opportunity to come in and have more long-term alignment with both esports organizations, players, and content creators. The ability to have kind of long-term ownership of and the upside of the game that you are part of, that you're helping to make more popular. I think this is a really important thing. So right now, YGG itself, we have we're part of we have esports teams in 2 games, right? They're Axie Origins and Parallel, and it's because we really believe in these games. We have community that love to play these games, and they're very passionate about it. And we want to help make these games more popular within our community and player base. And we want our players to be able to share in that upside as well. So I think it should be more of a long-term commitment with esports players, teams, and creators with games, and vice versa. And if you can help make these games more popular, then these creators should be able to share in the upside as well.
I just wanted to double click on something that you just said there about traditional esports and how it's struggling. What are some of the ways that the investment has been, I guess, wasted in that industry?
I think traditional esports has looked at sports and kind of copied a lot of the cost model. Let's try to get broadcast, let's get teams, high salaries, and all of that, big productions, big prize pools. And I'm not a fan of that because we don't know what the level of the economy that these games are bringing in yet, so you don't want to spend a lot of money up front. I'm a big fan of like grassroots esports, grassroots community-based tournaments. Let's see how these players really like the games. Let's see if the game is viable for esports in the long term. Let's have a program where the game is really partnered with different organizations to really grow the sport. And I think we're starting to see the beginnings of that, and we're hoping to participate and also stage a lot of these tournaments in the near future.
It is early days, but what are some of the strategies or tactics that you've seen work best in terms of building esports communities, or are there any examples that you could even point to?
Yeah, so again, this start from community grassroots. Just you can even hold small tournaments in the Discord, and the prize pools don't need to be big. And you can see that if the activity is really organic and people love the game, then you can kind of build your way up to bigger events. And before you do some like really large regional multi-country event, right? And I think just building that base, making sure it's strong, is something that's very important. Once that base is there, and importantly, your players, your teams, they're kind of incentivized to make the game successful because they're part of the upside, right? And once you have that base there, then you can build your way up to the bigger events.
Just before we move on to our final point, content creators do require a very, very broad skill set in order to be successful. How has YGG been able to help people build some of those skills if they want to get into that space?
Yeah, so I actually really love the kind of community content creation streams, and starting with the grassroots community creators. And these guys, even if they have just 10 people watching the stream, for example, they're very passionate about the games. And you can see that we're aggregating a lot of these micro creators and really making it as grassroots as possible. So it's actually the same strategy. You don't really want to start with the people who are like big Web2 creators because they don't really care about the Web3 games. They're not really aligned with the upside. But for the people that have been here for the last 2-3 years, they're the guys that will actually onboard new users when the new wave of users come in. And it's important to really have that long-term alignment.
Got it. All right, our final point. So this is, you're not meant to have favorites, but I have a favorite. I'm super excited about ERC 6551 and fully on-chain games. For anyone who's not familiar with this new standard, could you just let us know what is 6551?
Okay, so ERC 6551, or it's called TBA, token-bound account, it's basically an NFT that has its own wallet, right? And this is very important, and I think actually this is the most important new innovation in NFTs and potential for gaming since the invention of the NFT itself. And it's really big because now you can have NFTs that have a wallet instead of me, the user, having a wallet owning an NFT. So for example, I can have a game where my NFTs have a wallet, and for example, I can have AI encapsulated in these NFTs that do things for me inside the game, and then it can earn value. There's also different ways that we are looking to take advantage of token-bound accounts. So we want people to be able to register guilds, for example, and then have their own guild badge. And then that guild badge can have its wallet, and now you can do quests, and then earn reputation, like earn rewards as guilds instead of individuals. So that's something that we're looking to do sometime next year.
This new area is very new. I'm just wondering, because the first trend that you were sharing was about the future of gaming, but as the industry is today, how far off do you think things like ERC 6551 are in terms of seeing them in the real world? You know, are there any games today that you would point to that are experimenting with it already?
Very leading question, and of course we have them in the audience. So surprisingly, it's not very far off. Two of the games you mentioned here are Spacebar, who's also here to talk about this, and then Parallel is a kind of AI sim game where you can have your parallel avatars and their NFTs with AI in them, and then you tell the AI what you want to do, then it goes off and goes into the game, but it may not do exactly what you want, and it may come back with something that you didn't ask for. And I think it has the opportunity to create a new genre of gaming, and that's really interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. For me, what's so exciting about that space is I feel like we're really leaning into the blockchain side of blockchain gaming, which is really refreshing, because for a while there, I think a lot of people in the traditional space were definitely kind of pushing back on blockchain. So it's really exciting to see our crew lean in. We're nearly out of time, but I just have a final question for you. I was wondering, another leading question actually. What region in the world do you think will lead the way in terms of Web3 gaming adoption?
Yeah.
And which country specifically?
Yeah, so very interestingly, now you have a lot of really good developers from all over the world, US, Europe, Asia, but it seems like for the next 2 years at least, a lot of the kind of go-to-market first will happen in Asia. And interestingly now, for example, there's a lot of experienced Korean developers. Because of regulation, they can't launch in Korea first. Same with the Japanese, same with the Chinese. So all of these games are launching first in Southeast Asia. And when it comes to Southeast Asia, the country that leads in terms of just Web3 game adoption is the Philippines. So for the people who are here, you're seeing the future of games in real time, brought to you by the best developers around the world. So thank you.
Yeah, we definitely have the biggest population of Web3 ready gamers here, and we're going to hear more about that over the next couple of days. But we are out of time, but I just want to say thank you so much, Gabby. As I said right at the beginning, YGG has always set the narrative for Web3 gaming, so I'm very excited to hear where you think it's going to go, and we'll be watching intently over the coming year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you, Gabby and Leah. Such good questions, and thanks to Gabby for painting us the outlook for Web3 gaming as well as what YGG is set out to do. To set the context for our international guests, this next panel will give us a deeper understanding of the consumer behavior of the Filipinos in Web3, just going along what Gabby was mentioning, especially in the Philippines. To moderate the session entitled Understanding Filipino Web3 Users is Shiela Bertillo, lead writer of BitPinas, the country's oldest and most trusted crypto news source. Shiela is joined by Coins.pph country manager Jem Bilango, PDAX head of Metaverse Patrick Lau, and lastly, the subcultures manager for innovations and creator culture for Globe Telecom, Andrew Lim.
Hello? Alright, so guys, can you hear me well? Alright, so good afternoon. I know it's almost lunchtime, but I hope you guys stick with us. So I see a lot of students here from SDI. I hope you guys learned a lot from this panel as well as for the whole conference. Oh my god, my phone. I'm sorry. Alright, so to our foreign attendees as well as speakers that have come a long way to be here, welcome to the Philippines, the country that has been regarded as the country that has been regarded as the home of Web3 gaming. But before we actually deep dive into the realm of Web3 gaming, let us first tackle the drivers of this adoption, the users. So, in this panel, Understanding Filipino Web3 Users, we are joined by esteemed representatives from Coins.pph, PDAX, and Globe to help us get a deeper understanding of the consumer behavior of Filipinos and to get a sense of what is required to tap into the lucrative market of crypto-savvy gamers. So, are you guys ready? Let's start.
Game.
So, my first question, this is for everyone. Though we are all for Web3 here, your users, your customers have different reasons for availing your products and services. So, in under 2 minutes, can you describe your core audiences and detail the most effective ways you've found to engage with them, particularly in the realms of emerging technologies like blockchain and Web3? Anyone who wants to start?
Okay. So Coins.pph is one of the first, in 2 sentences ba? Okay, let's keep it short. We're the largest regulated exchange here in the Philippines, integrated exchange here in the Philippines, meaning we have a digital wallet, which is what you call an EMI, and we also have our exchange operations. What we envision Coins to be is to be the leading exchange globally with Philippine roots. Meaning that I've always said this in a lot of the panels. In fact, I've always been, I know YGG folks as well. We are always consumers of technology. I think Web3 and hopefully through Coins, this will be one of the first, and YG as well, will be the first exchange wherein we will have a regional play. So we have a very big operations here in the Philippines, but we also have Thailand, and we're opening up other countries as well. So yeah, and we're we have a Web3 wallet and digital wallet all in one super app.
All right. Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm Pat from PDAX. Secondly, to what Jen mentioned, I represent the PDAX, or the Philippine Digital Asset Exchange. We're also a crypto, mostly a spot crypto exchange in the Philippines, notably partnering with the largest e-wallet in the Philippines, GCash as well, in launching their, we basically power the infrastructure, the exchange infrastructure of GCrypto, which is the crypto exchange of GCash, the e-wallet. So just a little bit of, I guess, commentary on the Philippine market in terms of how we also see our role in the whole Web3 space. We kind of see PDAX as sort of a keyhole or representative of the microcosm of Web3 community in the Philippines. We see our users as the average, I mean, if you average the diverse profiles that our users have, as the average Web3 Filipino consumer-facing, DApp-consuming user in the Philippines. And how we see our role in that is we kind of see ourselves as the bridge between, I guess, the regulatory, our real world, and the Web3 world as well. And how we take advantage of it is through mostly continually offering new products. So I don't know if anyone has been keeping abreast of the news, but we've also recently released a tokenized RWA product in terms of tokenized T-bills issued by the Philippine government. More on the Web3 native side, gaming side, we've been actively developing our own NFT marketplace called Mintu, and actively exploring ways to be interoperable with various games, incoming games and local games as well in the Philippines.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Andrew from Globe. So the question is, how do we communicate to our customers? So Globe today has about 70 million users in the Philippines, and these are loaders already. So it's a little bit tricky just because it's different strokes for everyone. So there are life stages where if I am in the older segment, I might not be into the whole Web3 thing. But if I am too young, I might not understand enough yet. So there is always going to be a sweet spot. And we always find our users based on their interests, based on their spending habits, etc. So how we recognize these customers that, hey, they might be actually interested in Web3 would be based on if I had played any mobile game in the past few days or in the past few months, if I have been diving into different crypto apps, etc. So it's a little bit mix of all. So at least we get to see the face of who are these customers eventually. So given that Web3 is a new beast in itself, we're still trying to get to know our customers better if they are going to get into Web3 or not. But for the most part, we always start with the gamers. So once we tap, oh, hey, he's a gamer, highly likely he will be into Web3.
All right, thank you so much for those insightful answers. To follow up on my question, what specific challenges have you faced in engaging this audience, and how have you overcome them? Anyone?
Well, just to touch on the different types of user base here in the Philippines, right? Predominantly, we have a lot of GameFi users, and that has been the way that they were on board into Web3, similar to me as well. And I think over time, right, the value proposition for each type of user will be different. So for GameFi, you need to have a better on-ramp to a, if some of the games only allows you to interact using a Web3 wallet, there should be an easy on-ramp or easy user flow for that. So that's a different type of segment. Coins, we have a game center in the app, so it allows you access to a discovery platform wherein we have about 18 million cumulative app downloads here in the Philippines. So that's all within the app. If you are talking to a specific user wherein they're more DeFi or they're trader, I think there are certain limitations on what we can do as an exchange because of regulation. Right now, and SEC Commissioner mentioned this already, we can only offer spot. Right? If you're a trader, there are a couple of things that you look for. Leverage trading, you look at futures, options, etc. So those things, I think, has been predominantly a challenge because we see users are really leaking into other platforms wherein they can offer that because there's no, they're not bound by any licensing regime. So that's a specific type of user. And I think for that, that needs more conversations with the regulators. On the first one, if it's a GameFi specific user, I think there are a lot of, and there are different ways to approach them. Education, and community, those are the two main ones, plus a user experience. So community, customer experience, user experience. And I think this is where the conversation with guilds are important. This is where the conversation with picks and shovels are important. We see ourselves as picks and shovels in that we allow users to be on-ramped or easier to be onboarded into a particular platform, either listing their tokens on our exchange. We have several GameFi tokens. YGG is listed in our exchange. We have several as well, RON, all those tokens. So that's one. And it's also their way of rewarding their community. So if they want to do airdrops, or we can do like a specific targeted approach. So I think GameFi is something that there's existing rails, be it through community or be it through an infrastructure play, is available. It's now just the other side, which is the supply of games, right? The quality of games that these, and the monetization and the ecosystem of these games would make sure that the supply from a user's perspective is sustainable, right? So definitely there are existing rails and community. The trading part will be the financial savvy and sophisticated investor will be tricky for regulated exchanges like us.
Just to add also, I think there's a common theme coming from this dialogue, which is, I'm just double-clicking on what Andrew and Jen have been saying, which is actually the wide variety of users that we've been encountering in our platforms. And actually, that's one of the main, I guess, practical problems that we as a platform would have to solve. So the more, I guess, the easier method to solve this kind of variety and how to approach and target these types of users is in PDAX, we've been applying a few machine learning techniques in order to segment and profile these users properly. And we've actually discovered a few interesting statistics as well from this. One of which is, I think is very relevant to everyone here, is that around 40 to 50% of our user base own or have owned NFTs. So whether that's a gaming asset or an art NFT or a PFP, they have throughout their user journey, Web3 journey, own or have owned an NFT. So I guess that becomes also an opportunity for these games right now in how to capitalize that. They already have one foot inside the door in the Web3 community. How do you convert them into becoming a user of your own in the games? I guess a second and final, challenge here is, if you look at the benefits of Web3 and in the context of being a gaming studio, gaming developer, Web3 offers several benefits on the developer side, which is composability and permissionlessness. But if you look at it from the user point of view, these are actually just mere abstractions. These are not compelling enough reasons, maybe more of a nice have rather than a must have. So I guess one challenge that I guess is open to all platforms, Web3 platforms like PDAX, is how do you leverage on the consumer side the benefits of being on-chain? So my answer to that is the ownership effect. So on the user side, if you own an NFT, it's what I call the ownership effect. It feels different. You actually are, incentivized for the future and for the well-being of that project itself. So, yeah.
To ride on Jen and also Pat's point, the issue or the challenge of Globe today is not really creating the better offer versus the competition, but pushing the right offer for the customer that we want to talk to. As part of the subcultures team and marketing, we want to make a bigger space for the Web3 players. We want to bring more acquisitions for coins, for PDAX, because getting them in, we can really help in that. But in terms of knowing the right offer to push, whether it's driving to the event of YGG, whether it's pushing the correct SMS blast or pushing the correct rewards program, we need to talk to these people where they are highly likely interested in. So it's not always going to be mas mababang plan or mas mababang data pack or mas mababang rewards offer. It's always going to be if I have that spending power or if I am more susceptible to purchasing this app or purchasing this type of crypto, that's what will push to you. So it's always going to be pushing the right offer over pushing the better offer for Globe.
All right, thank you for that. So we're kind of running out of time. So in one sentence, what major trends do you see in the Philippine Web3 and gaming markets in the coming years?
I can go first. In one sentence, I'm seeing in my personal explorations in the space a movement from west to the east. So what I mean by that is, and this may be, I guess, a more anecdotal type of insight, is that I've been seeing a lot more activity on the eastern side in terms of innovation, in terms of Web3 gaming development from Eastern companies, notably South Korean gaming development companies, as well as Japanese Web3 incoming games. I think a ray of hope, I guess, for the Philippine market is there are still builders out here sticking around. Most notably, I don't know if you guys have heard of this local project called Anito Legends. So they've been sticking around since the bear market, and a lot of exciting things are upcoming as well in the roadmap. So yeah.
For me, the trend now, in one sentence, would be the youth is the key in terms of game development. There are a lot of great minds now in the Philippine market. There are a lot of universities opening up these courses in game development. So the trend is I see there are a lot more companies more open in the Philippines, like Pat mentioned, who are more into gaming now. So really the trend would be the key is the youth in getting them more getting more programs, getting more upskilling programs to get into Web3 game development specifically.
I think for me, the key trend, or even where we will end up, is all games would have a Web3 component in it. I wanted to say community, but community has always been there. This time, I think game publishers will now be closer to their users, and they wouldn't be beholden to distributors, right? So community and the connection, or the proximity of community to the game publisher will become narrower, or to the user actually. And that's only allowable with Web3, NFTs and all those things. So yeah, I think that's where we're all headed. Community as a vital point, but with Web3, the proximity of publishers to their users will now be closer.
All right, so that was our panel discussion. Thank you to our speakers and to our listeners. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Whenever I heard the word Filipino, it just reminds me of the Black Eyed Peas songs. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The Black Eyed Peas songs? Bebo? Okay, maybe it's just me then. But obviously, we're talking about the youth of the Philippines. So we recently witnessed YGG drive forward an innovative method for user onboarding and education for Web3 gamers. To hear about leveling up with Superquests, we have Global Head of Growth of YGG, Andrew Pui. Angel is joined by 2 stars of Axie's Superquest, co-founder of Sando-Level Up Guild, KooKoo, and YGG Esports elite player, SpamandRice.
Hi, everyone. I'm Angel. I'm the head of growth at YGG, and I'm joined by our 2 stars, SpamandRice and KooKoo. Here.
Hi,
Hello.
thank you for having me.
Well, I'm sure the fans in the audience already know these two, but let's start with a quick intro for the new faces in the house.
Yeah, so hi, I'm KooKoo Crypto TV. I'm a content creator. I have a social media channel where I onboard people on how to get started with crypto and blockchain. So, hello. GM.
My name is SpamandRice. I am a content creator and pro player for YGG. I stream over at Twitch. And right now, I'm actually very nervous. G-Host told me, bro, you stream for a living. You shouldn't be shy to talk to people. But wow, this is a lot different.
It's different.
A lot different.
Well, for those of you who may not have known, we were running a Superquest, and it is our YGG version of the questing system, where we paired up tips and tricks from the best of the best, plus a level progression, and you get to earn instant reward as well while you're learning and earning. So back in August, we actually launched a completely full campaign for Axie Infinity Origins with these two. So it was a super successful campaign. It was exclusive to only 2,000 players, and we later on actually opened up to about 4,000 players. And yeah, thank you. And over 25% of you guys actually completed all the quests within a day. And about 99% of you actually told us that you would like to do super quests for various different games to learn how to play and earn rewards. So how was the super quest experience for you both?
Yeah, first of all, shout out to all the KooKoo out there.
Yes.
And the SpamandRice crew. Those who are have the badges for the Super Quest, congratulations. For me, creating the Super Quest, the experience is really different. This is, I think, the first time that I work with like professionals that are really interested in providing useful information for someone who wants to get started with Axie Infinity. So.
Yeah, I mean, like everything about Superquest is amazing. The earnings, the onboarding, bringing new players back, or bringing new players on, or bringing old players back. And in terms of just the process of everything, working with YGG, they made everything so smooth. I'm pretty sure KooKoo could attest to that. Like you guys, I've never had an easier time content creating in my life, and it's honestly a pleasure to share tips and whatever I can teach to the community.
Well, speaking of teaching players, how did you guys get started?
Yeah, so my story's like a little different. I was just like a normal guy, started playing Axie, and anyone that watched my earlier streams knows I was horrible. I was actually known for just buying Axies and reselling them for more. No one ever thought I would become like a professional player or anything like that. Yeah, because if you watch me, you're like, this guy is really bad. But over time, everyone that has followed my journey knows I put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and eventually I was lucky enough to transition into a professional player. And now I'm the highest earning Axie player in terms of tournaments. So it's been quite a crazy ride. Yep.
And what about you, KooKoo?
Yeah, so I read an article written by Leah. So it's a Coinbase article that says Filipinos making sense during pandemic. So why not? We're online, we don't have work, and you can earn while playing. And then I joined the Discord. Found out about Gabby, and then bought my first two teams with Nate, who is the classic champion before. And then, yeah, the rest is history. I became an accidental content creator.
Wow, awesome. Well, like Gabby have mentioned before, you have onboarded thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of players. What's your secret? How do you onboard them? What are some of the players? What should they know about?
Well, during that time, there are a few content creators that are providing details on how to get started with crypto or blockchain, and some of those are like they're onboarding people because they have like personal interest or they have like bags to shell, and that's the challenge. And there's a lot of scams before, so I decided to create contents, which is I record videos using just my laptop. I don't know how to edit. I don't know like how to face in the camera. I just screen record it. My first few videos doesn't have a face because I'm too shy and I don't know what to like how to react when you have like introducing them to the platform. So I think the secret is just provide value. Those information should be like not accurate but beneficial to your viewers. It's important to like research the things that you're going to say in front of the camera because people rely on you. And if they rely on you with those information, basically they just decide whatever they want. If they want to buy the Axis, if they want to buy the tokens, which by the way, I don't like endorse people buying any kind of those stuff. But I just set them, guide them on how to do it. So and it's up to them if they want to decide whether they will buy it or not. So basically, creating an informed decision for them to get started in the space.
Awesome. Well, as the former champion of Axie Origin, what about you? What are some of the secrets that you could share with some of the players here today? Or how are you creating content online that are basically helping others become a competitive player as well?
Yeah, for me, ever since the very start, like back when V2 and Axie was in its like absolute peak, there were always players and streamers and always charging for services to teach players, coaching, shopping help. But that's always been against my philosophy. Anyone that's followed my journey starting 2 years ago knows I've always wanted to teach for free because my very first time joining the game, I was asking for help and someone said $50 an hour. I'm like, what? And so ever since then, I've always done my best to give free tips. I don't gatekeep much. Whenever someone asks a question or whenever someone even asks for personal coaching on the side, I've always done it for free. And a funny story about KooKoo and his onboarding and stuff. Yeah, like I started a little later than a lot of people. So what do you do when you first search up Axie? You like how to join, how to set up this. His videos, Elijah's videos were some of the first I've watched in order to join the game because I didn't even know how to set up a Ronin wallet. So man, it's been quite a crazy journey and now we're working together. It's awesome.
That's a 40-minute video, bro. Did you finish it?
Nope, I skimmed through the timestamps.
Yeah, because there's no edit, so it's like, okay, yeah, 40 minutes, go ahead.
I too also watch KooKoo's onboarding video to set up my wallet. So yeah, what are you guys up to now?
Right now, I've been focusing on becoming a dad.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're expecting a baby,
That's
so
a steep onboarding
first
right
time.
there.
Yeah, I master breeding in Axie, so might as well I master breeding in real life. So yeah, I've been preparing to be a dad. So excited. Shout out to my wife who's watching. She can't come
Congrats.
because it's her 37th week, so we're expecting a baby boy.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then of course on the side I still provide information, updates with the community, especially with Axie, and yeah. So with YGG Gap, congratulations to those participants.
Woo!
I know the Christmas will be very well for you this year because of the rewards.
What about you?
For me, I'm just trying to make YGG proud. I just joined earlier this year, and everyone here has taken care of me so well. Since I've joined YGG, I hit rank 1 for the first time 2 weeks ago. So that was really crazy, right? And currently, right now, is actually the last day of the season. And I'm currently rank 1 too. So right after this, I'm going to jet home, finish my last few games, and hopefully finish rank 1 again and keep doing what I do in YGG and making them proud.
All right. Well, we have a very exciting update for you guys. It's an exclusive alpha. Let me see if I can get this slide going. Oh. The slides are not moving. Oh, it is moving. Oh, okay, sorry. Since YGG's mission is to level up all players, we thought, why would we keep Superquests to just the 4,000 players? So introducing, we're actually going to be the official in-game trainer for Axie Origins coming up in the next month or so. And so right inside the Axie Origins game, you would be able to join the YGG Superquest and be able to access brand new content from these two. Yeah, super excited.
That's insane. That's like a dream come true to us, you know. This game gave us so much, and now we're going to be featured inside of it. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
And just the fact that all the players can actually learn from the best and also be able to earn some exclusive rewards. So definitely, if you don't already have your YGG account, go check it out, sign up, so that when it does open in a few weeks, you'll be first to be notified. Let's see if my next, this is a little sneak peek of how it'll look inside the game. And let's cue a quick little video.
My name is SpamandRice, and today's lesson is going to be quite an advanced one. For the first time ever, I'm going to be showing you guys my thought process on how I choose my final comps. Now, I've never shown this before because keeping your final comp secret is very important. All lessons I teach today can be applied towards all eras. It's all about building the right comps, making sure you don't spend too much, making sure you know all your alternative options, and most importantly, making sure you get a return on investment. See you guys next time on the next Superquest.
Whew. So, we have a couple minutes left. You guys want to give us a sneak peek of what's to come inside this in-game trainer that you might be covering?
Yeah, so we were talking about leveling up, right? So for these next quests, they're going to be even more advanced. There's going to be tips I don't even share with my fellow teammates.
Ooh, thank you.
I even dive into the thought process of what I'm doing this season in order to achieve rank 1 and everything like that. And I really recommend everyone checking it out. I think Axie is still like the best way to earn money in gaming in Web3. It still pays out so well. And I'm giving like literally tips I've never shared on stream either. So it's actually quite special for me to do.
Yeah, for me, I really took the time to research all of the basic stuff when it comes to like getting started with Axie Infinity, which is, I think most of the time people forget, you know, to learn about the basic stuff where you can really use it very like regularly when it comes to like competition. There are a lot of players right now, they like neglect learning about those small buttons on your screen, where to craft, where to like get your access information. So yeah, I really took the time to learn all of that so I can provide detailed information and specific information that our new users will use and be beneficial to them.
Yeah, when I was learning the game myself to create the Superquest, there were just so many little details, like you guys have said, that really, yeah, it just takes a lot of different learning, and it was awesome to pair up with you both, not only to learn from you, but also to design this program that the players seem to really enjoy. So thanks for joining me today. Why don't we leave with, I know there are so much knowledge in both of your heads, it will be really hard to choose one, but what would be your one nugget that you could leave with players today?
My one tip is just get in there, just try. I know a lot of you guys have heard of Axie Infinity before. Actually, compared to back then, the entry level to earning ratio is a lot better these days. It pays out a lot more while it doesn't cost $1,000 to buy an Axie no more, which is quite insane. You could buy a top tier one for around $40 and whatnot, and go all the way up to like top 40. So yeah, just try it out. And just for everyone else, if you see me around, don't be shy. Ask me if you need any help, any tips. I'd be more than happy to help. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Philippines trip here.
Yeah, so for those of you who wants to get started with Axie Infinity Origins, well, basically my tips is just master the basic stuff. Because if you forget about the basic, then you can't be competitive. If you want to really like earn like how much spam is the #1 right now when it comes to earning. So yeah, master the basics.
Awesome. And my tip to you all is to sign up to Superquests and get access to these tips that they don't even produce on their own channels, and come by. It's completely free. Learn and earn some rewards. And thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, Angel, KooKoo, and SpamandRice. You're really making me hungry. Is the SpamRice a spam musubi? Anyway, I don't know. Bad jokes on my side. But anyway, on to another fireside chat, the basics of gaming on Layer 2. We'll hear about the opportunities ahead for games looking to build on Base. To lead this conversation, we have the director of Emfarsis, Nathan Smale, and he's joined by Gerald Lonlas, engineering manager of Coinbase.
Awesome. Gerald, thank you for joining us today. To kick things off, I'm going to get you to tell us a little bit about the relationship between Base and Coinbase, the centralized exchange. We've all heard of it. How do the two interact, and why is a Coinbase engineer here talking about Base today?
Sure. So first, thank you very much for all of you to be here. I see a lot of builders around the room. I know that you want to build, you want to continue to build, and that's why I'm very happy to be here, and thank you so much for hosting me. So Coinbase is, for me, and the way I see it, Coinbase is the first step to go to crypto and to buy your assets, to go on-chain. The next step was, how can we go further to on-chain? How can we bring more customers on-chain, not just staying on an exchange? So for a very long time, we thought about what we should do in terms of blockchains. Do we have to create our own blockchains? Do we have to contribute to an existing blockchains? Do we have to create a brand new technology or not? And so for a very long time, we got that in our program and waiting for blockchain to come. Until last year, probably like a year from now, we say, we will contribute to an existing blockchain. We want to bring it to the next stage. And as engineers from Coinbase, we start to work on it. We worked with Optimism, the OP stack, and how Base was created. Now, Base is a bit different because there is a lot of purpose from Coinbase to bring customers here. And we got employees from Coinbase who moved from really Coinbase itself to Base. And now today is a small team, but a very talented team about creating blockchains infrastructures.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And so you were talking about, it's kind of more recent, I think you kind of officially launched Base in August?
It is August, yes, correct.
And that kind of kicked off what we were calling on-chain summer. And I think there was a fair bit of hype around it. It was one of the smoothest deployments of a blockchain that I've ever seen. But then there's also quite a lot of hype. I think we saw Friendtech really drive a lot of adoption. How was that for you guys internally to see kind of right from day one when you launched, there was a whole lot of hype and activity on chain?
So it is not about just only the launch in August, because we grew all the blockchain before. So since December last year, we were in testnet, and we got more and more hype around the testnet. Like every blockchain creating, you see a lot of hype coming to it. Now, since it was extremely easy for developers to build on Base, and we can go later on that topic, it was very easy for them to test on the testnet. So the day we switch from testnet to mainnet, say, okay, we open the mainnet, it was extremely smooth for developers to have their application here. And we saw tons of tractions within within 30 days, we got like 100,000 customers already on it, a lot of TVL on the blockchains, and we got surprising applications like Friendtech, who blew really on chain and created a lot of contents, a lot of activity on the blockchain. But also, you mentioned about the on-chain summer. And on-chain summer was really like, in comparison to the bear market, how can we bring more activity on-chain? How can we bring people like, okay, you can do it again. And we got tons of NFTs on Base, just try to kickstart and to see, is that robust enough?
I definitely minted a lot of free or very cheap NFTs on Base that week.
I did as well. Tons of them. But also because it becomes cheap. It becomes cheap to do, and you cannot try to meet them. Maybe just like as a reward, not for speculation. And the gas fee was so cheap, let's say, okay, I can do it.
Nice. Now, given the audience we have here, you said there are a lot of builders, but there's also quite a lot of founders and people entering the market. Before we get too much further and dive into Base in detail, thought we might start with some definitions for everyone to make sure we're all on the same page and use this opportunity to educate a little. So just starting out in basics, how do you describe the difference between layer 1 and layer 2?
Sure. So if you're in the blockchain for a long time, you know that a few years back we got like different chains competing together with different type of technologies or duplicating the technologies. And most of them try to solve the same issue in terms of scalability, security, and cost of operations. They're all, I would say, at that time, they're all L1s. That means they're all basic infrastructure levels of blockchains. But we found with the time that it is hard. It is very hard to solve this issue in terms of cost, efficiency, security. So what comes over the time is that we got a very specialized blockchain which try to solve it, or there is other blockchain saying the base, the L1, for example, like Ethereum, is so secure, it is so reliable. Now we can bring another layer on top of it to accelerate it. And it's what we call today L2s. And you can get L2s everywhere. Today we mentioned mostly about L2s on Ethereum because it is where there is a most of L2s, but you have L2s on other blockchain as well. And the goal is really to solve the next gap, and usually it is speed of transactions and reducing also cost of transactions.
Awesome. And so how does BASE actually solve that? I've heard, heard you mention the term optimism before, but I've also heard a lot of people in the industry talking about ZK Sync. What are they and how do they affect this layer 2 economy?
Sure. So now, especially on Ethereum, there's at least two big ways to scale, not only, but two of them are optimistic rollup and ZK rollup. They are totally two different technologies and they don't try to solve the same issue. I would say that the ZK rollup is really about anonymity of your information, providing less information, but it requires a lot of computation. And for developers, it is extremely hard today to build on it. It is feasible, but the time of coding on ZK is still quite hard. I really love ZK, by the way, but it's still like a gap when you want to develop. On the other side, you have optimistic, which is an EVM in which you say, whatever happened on the blockchain, I trust what's happened on that blockchain, is what is optimistic. But the moment I want to back up information from the L2 to the L1, at that moment I will do the true verification that customer got all the assets he says to have. And that's why optimistic is extremely simple for developers to do. Because if you have built an application on chain for an EVM, like Ethereum, you can usually create it on the layer 2 with no code change. And this is what we like in BASE is, now BASE why we use optimistic is because we say, how do we bring more customers on chain? How do we build more builders? We have to reduce the cost of development. And this is why with this optimism and OP-Stack choice, you can just develop with Solidity, with EVM, as you do usually. Just deploy on BASE, like you deploy on Ethereum. Nothing changed. So as a developer, I really love that. I don't need to learn a new framework. I don't need to experiment to face issue with it.
Awesome. And so, I mean, that kind of covers the technical components. But for founders, gamers, what are the features of these layer 2s, and in particular BASE, that actually make it prime for gaming? And what kind of features can we see being implemented by the games that really leverage the blockchain?
So I will look at it from the customer perspective first. When I'm playing a video game, on-chain or a regular video game, I don't want to keep paying for a game, and I don't want to pay high fee. In the past, when I was looking for game and on-chain game, I was looking at the games that cost for me as little as possible to play with it, because I want to play longer on it. And on BASE, the first part you can get when you go on the L2 with BASE is the gas fee, which is reduced, 10 times reduced than Ethereum, means it's extremely fast and cheap to make a transaction. That is the base layer of BASE. Second part which is coming is account abstraction. Account abstraction, in short, if really I want to summarize it, is you don't pay the gas fee, someone else pays for you. For example, today when you use Web2, you never pay the transactions for a database storage. The company you are using, for example, Amazon, pays on your behalf. Account abstraction can do that. And when you build, you can do that for your customers. Means you don't need to ask your customers, I have enough funds on your wallet to play my game. I will do it on your behalf. And this account abstraction is quite complex initially to implement. But with BASE, we have abstracted a lot of this complexity. Technically, it's 5 lines of code to put in your contract. So all the bundler, the paymaster, that is taken care by BASE.
So what I'm hearing is the game company is going to pay my transaction fees for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. If they want, they can do it, and we can enable more customers with that.
That's what we want to hear. More of that, cheaper gaming, so we can play more of it.
Even I would love to say that there's even a business creating here, because you will see now intermediaries who say, "I will take care of being the pay or paymaster. I have the funds, and you have the game. I give you the ability to do it, and after that, at the end of the month, I tell you how much you need for the infrastructure. That's all." So I'm sure there's also if you are builders, not building only on the game itself, but also this layer of account abstraction will be very profitable, I'm sure, in the future in terms of abstraction to this layer.
Nice. Now, with a few minutes to go, I'm keen to know what games are being developed on BASE. Personally, I've been playing a lot of Kelvin the Adventurer. We have Pixelmon coming up tomorrow. We have a bit of an internal tournament at Emfarsis, and I'm terrible at it. So what other games can I go on to and move to past that? I've seen my feed's been blowing up with pet friends.
Yeah, we saw pet friends. I'm sure your feed has a lot of pet friends right now. There's a very big hype into it. But you mentioned about Kelvin. Kelvin, I love this game. I try. I'm not good at all. Huh? I'm definitely not good. So please, if someone is good, teach me how to do it, because I don't play well. But I see a lot of games right now who consider BASE because there is different aspect to it. First, it's very easy to switch to it. You can add BASE as you add another blockchain, so you can go to the blockchain. But second part is you will get pipe to all Coinbase customers, and this is what we want. We want to bring all our customers who are off-chain today on the exchange. We want to bring them on-chain.
How many customers has Coinbase got?
Oh, it's more than 110 million right now.
110 million.
Yes.
About the same as the Philippines.
And, I wish they're all based in Philippines. But we try to get them more and more on-chain. So it will be the first gateway for them. So if you are plugged to BASE, after that you can plug to other chain as well. But if you're plugged to BASE, you know that you can get those customers to start playing your game.
Awesome. Now, just with a final kind of question, you put forward a pretty good case as to why people should get involved. But if I actually want to get involved in the BASE ecosystem, what are the next steps? How do I do it as a developer? What's next?
So there is different ways. By the way, I love these questions, especially as a developer. The first thing is, of course, obviously, go to base.org, the website. But what you will see into it, we see two things I found very interesting. The documentation, which is extremely simple. If you want to build on-chain, and not only for BASE, but on-chain, there is a good tutorials how to build on it. Then after that, you will go to the Discord, and the Discord is extremely vibrant today in terms of community. There is 200,000 users right now.
Nice. I think everyone here is already on Discord, so that's super handy.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of community for building. And after that, something you can sign up right now for free. There is a bootcamp, which is in short. You bring your project, and we help you to build it with you. We teach you how to do it. We tell you what you can do when you build on-chain. It's totally free. There is, I think, every month. You can sign up right now for the January session. And you have a mentor who helps you to build. So if you have a company, you are building on-chain, and you want just to go to the next step and to learn, go to the Basecamp.
And so that's free to get involved?
Yes, it's free. And if you're a developer and you want to be a mentor, because teaching is learning as well, you can also be a mentor, and we are today connected directly to BASE developers, but also to the community. And I'm part of it, so you can see me there.
So I hit you straight up on Discord?
Absolutely. You go on Discord, you go on the website, and you can see me here.
Awesome. Gerald, thank you so much for coming all the way to the Philippines and sharing all of your learnings with us. Hopefully we're going to see more of this on-chain summer. I'm loving green every time I look at the market. So more people on-chain is a really good thing. Did you have any final thoughts to leave the audience here before we kick off?
First, I want to thank you, all of you, for building. Please keep building. I know it was not easy, but I saw a huge change in gaming between like 2017. We haven't discussed about like a old game like CryptoKitties, but between that time to now, it's a revolution. So please continue to build, continue to innovate. We need you to do it, and I can't wait to continue to play.
So you broke Ethereum with CryptoKitties back in 2018, and now we've got BASE. If we had CryptoKitties on BASE, wouldn't go down?
I didn't know. Maybe we can get, but now you have some Tamagotchi, huh? So it's a cycle, huh? It's turning.
It's always a cycle in crypto. Gerald, thank you so much for coming along, and look forward to chatting more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gerald and Nathan. All right, as I've mentioned earlier at the start of the program, that YGG is bringing us the hottest and upcoming games in the space. So the next segment will give you exactly what a game show will look like. This is a game called Parallel. So we will have a couple guests coming to the stage to show us what the game will look like. But at the same time, good news. I kept on saying how hungry I was when I saw SpamandRice. And there's some lunch actually at the Ballroom C right next door for everybody to grab. So make sure you grab some food and then hang out a little bit, but make sure you come back to this ballroom because the game show is about to happen in 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah, make sure you get some food right now and make sure you come back. Thank you.
We would like to thank our sponsors who supported us for the YGG Web3 Games Summit. Our diamond sponsors: Hyperplay, the official game launcher, Project Zeno, and Brilliant Crypto. Our platinum sponsors: Ragnarok Landverse, Globe, the official connectivity partner, Polygon, Click, Linea, Coins.pph, and Aura NFT. Our gold sponsors: DWF, Blockchain Space, Aptos, Breeder DAO, ZTX, and Super Duper. Our silver sponsors: Cryptopia, Sending Labs, Anito Legends, Rift Storm, Parallel, M-Deck, Pixelmon, Cards Ahoy, 9 Chronicles, Mighty Action Heroes, Axie Infinity and Ronin, Metascene, Block Damon, Coinbase, Tashi, Superfine, Paragon's DAO,
GM, what's up, guys? Hello. How are you guys? Hello. What's up, Punchies? I'm good, Sir Miguel. How are you? I'm very excited for this event, especially it's been a long time since we've talked and had a game, right?
Yes, sir. So before we start, I just want to ask, how are you today?
I'm feeling a little nervous, but let's go. How about you? How about you, Manchis?
Me, I'm really, really happy today because today is the most awaited, the most extravagant, and the most beautiful men and women here in this space. Let us all welcome you all to YGG W3GS Game Showcase representing Parallel.
Yes. Are you excited, guys, to learn more about Parallel? So I think some of our guests are having their lunch, but to our guests who stayed here, you'll have a great time.
So how is everyone doing? Are you guys good?
Are you hungry, guys? No, you're all good. Okay. Okay, before we start and before we call on our gamers here on stage, let us introduce Parallel first.
You want me to introduce it for you? All right, so Parallel. This game is one of the awaited TGC right now that we're expecting. So Parallel is a game that having 5 factions that is already from Earthen, Augenkor, Markolian, Cathari, and Shroud, and experience a new card gameplay with these 2 amazing gamers.
Okay, let us introduce our gamers. The first one that I'll introduce is a former Hearthstone pro, currently a competitive player for Axie Infinity, and the newest addition to YGG Esports Parallel team. Let's all welcome Sequinox! GM Sequinox.
And playing with him is the team captain of YGG Elite and also a pro player of Axie Infinity and now spearheading YGG Esports Parallel team. Let us all welcome DC Boy!
Let's go!
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, guys. So today, you will show us how to play Parallel. Are you excited, guys?
All right, let's exchange. Let's go, let's go.
Are you excited, Sequinox? Oh, but first, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi guys, I'm Sequinox. I am a player for YGG Elite for Parallel and Axie Infinity. But yeah, I'm very excited to be here today. Fantastic venue. Love to be back in the Philippines again. And yeah, I can't wait to show you guys Parallel.
Wow, wow, wow.
And can you introduce yourself, Sir DC Boy?
I'm DC. I've been the team captain for YGG Esports for almost 2 years now. And now we're exploring Parallel. And here we have Sequinox as our new addition to the team so that we gotta push further for the next years, right?
All right, all right. Okay, so what we are having today, okay? They're setting up. Okay.
So while they're setting up their game, all right, I just want to ask, DC Boy, did you remember the first card game or TCG game that you played before?
Probably, I'm not sure if everyone remembers a Pokemon trading card game from Nintendo Game Boy, because that's probably like 15 plus years already. So that was when I was young, I guess. But yeah, that's my favorite trading card game ever since.
How about you, Sequinox?
So I've actually played card games my whole life. I think my first ever card game is also Pokemon on the Game Boy. But afterwards, I played a lot of Duel Masters, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. So I have a lot of certificates, of championships of those games at home. And then after that, I started in esports with Hearthstone. Yeah. So just many TCGs.
All right. How about our audience? Is there anyone playing Parallel already? Yes. Wow.
Parallel gamers here, can you raise up your hands? Let's go. Woo.
Do you want to play against our pro players? No.
Everyone is excited because this game is a new game that we will dive into, and mostly the people are here excited. Are you excited, DC Boy?
For sure, for sure. I've been playing this for quite some time now, and even Cyclonox, so I'm really hoping a lot of people would also join us play this game.
Let's go.
All right. I think the game is starting, right?
Is it starting already? Oh, there you go. There you go.
All right. Can you tell us what's happening?
So I think, do you guys see, I think you guys are looking at his hand, but basically this is called the mulligan phase, right? So in card games, obviously, it's all about probability and stuff. So what you need to do is they are giving you a chance to reshuffle what you drew in the first place so that you kind of alleviate that whole RNG factor. Yeah.
Wow, some tips from the pro.
The startups. So right now, Sir DC Boy, when did you start playing Parallel?
I probably started 2 months ago. I know it actually from Cyclonox as well. And our head from esports, Mike, he asked me to try it out, and I was really hooked to it ever since.
So for only 2 months, he's
For
now a
only 2
pro.
months?
He's now a pro.
Yes,
He's
sir.
really a pro. Okay, Cyclonox, how is it different to other card gameplays like Hearthstone?
So the good thing about this game is that I think it takes the best parts of all the different famous card games.
We're in
there's
this together.
Elements of Hearthstone, there's elements of Magic the Gathering, I would say some elements of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even. Yeah, so I would say Parallel is actually a game that brings the best parts of all card games together, which is why I really love it so much. When I played it, I was like, yo, this is guys, come and play this. Yeah.
Do we have bets here?
Oh.
Okay.
Who got the winning bet?
Yeah. For our audience, whose side are you on? Who's Team Sequinox here? Who's rooting for Sequinox?
Team
Let's go!
Sequinox!
All right.
And who is Team DC Boy here? Let's go. And for a follow-up question for you, DC, how do you compare it, parallel game to other games? And did you have any confusion or challenges when you started the game?
Honestly, I think the only card game that I really played a lot is the Pokemon one. So after that, I didn't play that much, and I played like Axie Infinity like as a pro player. But other than that, there's not much trading card game. So when I actually played this, like I was really surprised on how easy it was to actually like get me onboarded. Good tutorial, good rookie challenges. So my onboarding was really smooth, I would say. And I feel like it's not just because I'm like maybe a pro player from another game, but I think they really set it up in such a way that it's easy to onboard new people.
That's good to hear.
Yes,
Yep.
Especially a lot of gamers doesn't know Parallel or any other card games. Parallel is
There is no glory in
That's
hesitation.
right. You can play it, download it for free, and start right now. So what's happening?
Yeah, what's happening?
Here?
So this is just the early game. Most of us are pretty chill, right? We're just trying to what we call take over the board. So we are playing minions, we are trading, and yeah, I guess early game is pretty slow, you know, but eventually you guys will see a lot of crazy things happening, I hope.
For how many minutes?
I would say after this turn, it gets a bit crazy. Yeah. So right now, we remove his board, we play cards, deal damage to his minions. So the most important thing about card games is that you want to try to take control of what we call the board, right? Unless you're playing like a combo deck or whatnot, but for now, this is not a combo deck. We are both playing very board-based decks, right? I'm playing Marcolian, which is, for those that play Magic, it's known as a red deck, right? A lot of fast-hitting minions, a lot of big damage. And for DC, he's playing Qatari, which is blue. So it's more of like a swarm deck where he wants to take the board also. So yeah, so both of us wants to take the board.
Yeah.
But right now I'm ahead, so let's see if he can bring it back.
Alright.
Bro, you destroyed one of DC Boy's car, huh? So what is DC Boy's attack here?
So as Cyclonox has said, both of our decks are like decks that really want to control the board. So we really want to utilize what resources we could play early to get that board control, and especially for starters, that's how you actually try to, I would say, learn the game. And then you would know more strategies when you face like other decks or like other players, and then that's how you would advance your games.